One thing we must admit, things are pretty chill in the NTE community. Oh yeah, we're eating really good, whether it's the game or whether it's the community dynamic. Things are super good in the NTE community. However, from time to time, there will be certain conversations that can make us worry that this peace we're having is just the calm before the storm and not something that we can expect from the community all the time. And so it seems to be going down a little bit over certain corners of the NTE community where we have seen people, and I've already covered this a bit on my shorts, but it seems that the conversation is still a bit alive. So I feel like maybe we could have a more constructive conversation about it. And it's about, of course, Zanko. More specifically, the fact that Zanko is a playable character and people have an issue with villains being playable in gacha games as a whole. It's about the whole conversation of villains in gachas because, you know, there's good and bad, and why can't they just kill off characters? I feel like that's what was so impactful with Signora and Genshin Impact. Signora was one of the most hyped characters at the start of Genshin Impact, hands down. I mean, have you seen her design? Everybody thought that they will eventually make her a playable character. But I always wanted the opinion that, well, not everybody can be a playable character. I mean, death is part of these stories. Like, someone needs to die. And so when they killed her off, a big, probably the waifu of waifus in terms of reveal at the time, that was pretty shocking. A lot of people thought that they will still revive her. She's alive. She's going to come back and she'll be playable when she comes back because now she's purified through death. Well, that wasn't the case. And I feel like Signora is remembered fondly because of exactly just that. And Zanko, considering what we've seen, I mean, there's still more to the character. We still don't know. A little bit like Frolova from Wuthering Waves. There's still more. So, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, we don't know. There's still more stuff to be revealed about the character for us to go with a conclusion that, oh yeah, she's just evil. No, she's obviously under the order of her mama, apparently. And she is, I think they call each other sister. I think they're adoptive, I'm assuming. Maybe Daffodil will save her and reveal to us that she's not all bad. And she can be like Tartaglia. Like, he's still in the Fatui, he's still in the opposition, but we're kind of cool with them nonetheless because we clash blades and stuff like that. So we'll see what dynamics they go with, but this has really piqued my interest. Why are playable villains so controversial in gacha games? I really want to know more about it, to be honest with you, because I feel like this encompasses the gacha space as a whole, and I feel like that's a very good conversation for us to have in what to expect from the gacha space when it comes to villains that are playable, and also how to hopefully navigate it properly. So without further ado, we have this man, Kind Cruelty. That's an interesting name, pulling up about this. So without further ado, let's get it on. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to not miss any updates.
I guess I better go subscribe to VXV Gacha.
So, imagine this. You are waiting for the next drip marketing in your favorite gacha game.
Yes.
The posts finally arrive. The drip marketing posts show a character. Their art is incredible. The model is updated and looks actually good. Everything is pointing towards a successful design of a character.
Yes.
Then we get an unexpected event. People are complaining. But people are not complaining about the design. They
Yes.
aren't complaining about the art or
If they were to complain about the design and art, that's a self-report that you're gay. Or it's a swamp hack take. We all know it.
even the element of the upcoming character. They aren't even complaining about the potential power creep.
I feel like Element is a decent complaint in the Wuthering Waves community, though. A character looks so fusion, and then they're like, oh, it's Spectro. What? Okay.
Instead, a portion of the Chinese community start to ask a question that no one expected. Why is this character even playable?
Oh, this is going down in Cien. Oh, no. Okay.
Welcome to one of the strangest debates that currently has the Neverness to Everness community in a chokehold.
I wouldn't say we're in a chokehold there. It's an okay sentiment. I understand where it's coming from, but it's like, well, hold on to your horses. We still need to know more about the character. If they're going down the route and making it playable, that's fine. They can still make it work. Like Frolova, they did a good job. Scaramouche, they did a good job. In Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Adventurine, they did a decent job. So yeah, it can work. They can make it work. We just have to trust them that the storytelling fits the fact that we can play as Zanko. And most importantly, I think we all are a little more gracious because she's obviously hot. So I feel like that plays a huge part.
Zanko is controversial because she is a villain. This is what got me thinking. Why does this tend to happen with gacha games? This isn't the first time a morally questionable character has become playable, and it has somehow for the most part led to the division in the player base. A portion of the player base celebrates this, while the other portion starts pushing back on the unit. We have seen villain-type characters become playable multiple times before.
Yes.
Scaramouche, Frolova, and even Nemesis in Tower of Fantasy.
Oh yeah, Nemesis. Actually, she was supposed to be a villain. True. She is the first villain we fight, and she is the mascot. Oh yeah, put that on your pipe.
Even when we look outside of gacha games, the debate of whether villains should become playable
Oh man, Tower of Fantasy's design, Jesus.
seems to always happen.
That looks good.
Maybe Zanko is just our latest case study for a question that should actually be answered. Should villains be playable at all? As gacha games is a genre where you are effectively collecting characters you like. Shockingly enough, players seem to care a lot about the morality of said character available for collection.
Yes.
Let's start by going over what actually happened. As we all know by now, Hota teases the upcoming units through a post. Every gacha game seems to do this by now. This has been dubbed drip marketing by the gacha community.
Yes.
We all know the hype that follows after
Dude, Fadia, every time Fadia is on screen, it's just such a tease. She is such a gooner bait, it's insane.
an upcoming character is revealed. Players went over the changes in her design, her potential role in the game, and so on. The discussion was all too familiar until things took a turn and shifted away from actual gameplay. The strange thing isn't that people dislike Zanko, it's that they are questioning whether villains should be playable at all. Some players started asking, why are we even able to pull and play her? Their reasoning, you wonder? Because Zanko isn't introduced to us.
Villain as wives. The title is Villains as Wives. You obviously haven't heard of guys that when they look at a hot girl that's a little not the best in the head, they go, I can save her. You obviously haven't met those guys, so we'll see. That's a lot of us because we all want to be heroes if we can, and we can save the hot damsel in distress. Well, I mean,
Because Zanko isn't introduced to us as another useful ally. She's part of the Scarlet Letter. This
well, so was Vegeta in Dragon Ball, and now he's the most important ally to the Z Warriors because he fuses with Goku. He's the second powerful character that they have as defenders of Earth. That was a villain, man. That was the villain actually in the Saiyan arc. Like that was the villain. Piccolo too. Before that, so yeah.
is a group that currently opposes Zero in the story.
I mean, I want you to think about the fact that Majin Buu, the Fat Buu, became an ally and he turned people into candy and ate them on camera. Yeah, I want you to think about that for a second. And now Buu is, he's cute and stuff. Yeah, so we're low-key weird.
She isn't an anti-hero or just a morally grey character, but a direct villain in the story. This was more than enough for many to ask. If she's an antagonist, why should she even become a playable character in our roster?
Fair enough.
Why should units that were affected by her actions in the story fight alongside such a character? Those questions and sentiments quickly spread across the community. This created a new discussion about the patch 1.3 and happened to be one of the prevailing discussions at that. Now, I want to make one thing clear. This is in no way the opinion of the whole Chinese community.
Of course.
In fact, it couldn't be anything further from that.
Yes.
As many players are quite excited about the idea of having Zanko as a player.
Of course, dude. When you look at the design and also the elements, I feel like she is indeed a must-pull. Like everything about her just screams, you just gotta get her. You just gotta get her.
Many actually prefer to have characters whose morality is somewhat muddied, as they believe it makes for a story with more depth. But this doesn't stop the discussion from becoming so large in the Chinese community, but the global community has picked up on it as well.
Yeah.
This is no surprise really, as this has happened time and time again, in fact multiple times, which raises the bigger question. Why do playable villains make people so uncomfortable in the first place?
In my opinion, the reason why that happens is because people like to navigate life through a black or white lens and not necessarily a morally gray area. Because if you were to navigate life with just black or white, it's way simpler that way, because gray requires you to actually sit down, look at the details and break things apart to see which shade of gray that thing is. Is it more on the dark side, therefore I should be careful, or is it more on the light side, therefore it's more acceptable? But that's a lot of work that a lot of people, mean, considering you just navigate life, it's very tricky. It can be very tricky and very tiresome too. So to ease that, people just go black. This is bad. This is good. That's it. Like it simplifies navigating life and, more importantly, society.
With the discourse around gaming communities, they are all constantly asking for developers to provide better stories. This includes characters that have more depth, are driven by complicated motivations, and we also ask for moral ambiguity. We enjoy a good story that isn't categorized so easily as black and white. This is all well and good until something strange happens. The moment one of these morally complicated characters become playable, a portion of the player base just seems to reject this idea, as if complexity is only okay if it stays in the story and is far from them. I mean, think about this clearly. Villains are always in the game and no one will ever complain. Sometimes they steal the show and are quite loved by the player base.
Yes.
Usually villains with charisma and charm, those you can never predict.
People might hate what I'm about to say, but Thanos had a lot of aura, man. Bro farmed a lot of aura. Every time he shows up on screen, bro farms aura. That's a good villain.
Without them, the story wouldn't even progress. The main character wouldn't even learn and grow. Why is it then that the conversation tends to shift when we are allowed to pilot them and control them in the game? The moment you pull a villain, from that moment going forward, they are no longer just a character you are watching in a story. They become someone you are choosing. The morality feels much more personal. This is where I think the entire debate actually begins. If you've been playing gacha games for a while, this is probably all too familiar. Zanko is far from the first character to spark this discussion in players. Perhaps the most famous example being Scaramouche from Genshin Impact. Long before he became the Wanderer, Scaramouche was one of the game's big antagonists.
Yes.
He was literally the Balladeer, the sixth Fatui Harbinger. He manipulated and caused suffering for many people in the story throughout multiple arcs. He was in no way introduced as a character that is misunderstood. He was in fact a character that we were supposed to dislike. The irony in all this is that he became a popular character within the community.
For the wrong reasons. If you know, you know. Scaramouche, there was a huge drama with Scaramouche because apparently girls liked him and a lot of guys didn't like the fact that he was popular with girls. And a lot of stuff happened because of that. Very dark stuff. Scaramouche he's an episode that I, for one, I'm not fond of.
When he was eventually announced as a playable character, the all too familiar divide happened. The community was split and couldn't agree on whether he should be playable. The fans supported the decision and were happy, arguing that redemption is a compelling narrative to have.
Yes.
People can change and grow.
I like what Genshin did is that it allowed some redeemable characters to be playable and others no. Capitano was actually still killed off. He wasn't playable in the end, which I think was good. See, some can be redeemed and really put in the work and succeed in their redemption. Some don't. Even though they have the spirit to redeem themselves, they still fail. I like that. That's a good portrayal of how things really are.
Redemption does not erase all the atrocities of the past.
It doesn't remove the atrocities of the past, but you can start redeeming yourself by at least making sure that the people that you've harmed are doing better. You atone for your sins. Atonement is important, and you keep atoning for the damages you yourself have caused. My favorite one is Endeavor from My Hero Academia. I think that is by far the best redemption, atonement type character in anime history for me personally. I don't think anyone come anywhere close because he says so multiple times, and we are reminded. And when we see him with his family, and his family, especially, I like the role of one of his kids where they always call his ass out. He never ever lets him forget, because the role of the character there is to not let the audience forget that even though now he's the #1 hero, he's cool now, he's all this stuff, we finally have him in the spotlight and he's shown to be this very badass Giga Chad, right? He was still a true dipshit. He was a bit crazy. Well, actually not a bit, he was crazy. And so now that you have snapped out of it, well, you still have caused a lot of harm. And Endeavor's story arc is to actually face the harm that he has done to his family, more so than, well, the villains and all that stuff, like his role as a hero in the story. Endeavor is by far one of my favorite characters in anime, in consideration of how story-wise for sure. And also, he's a pretty cool character. I like fire-using characters. Also, Vegeta may have destroyed civilizations, but ever since then, he started to protect civilization. And technically, he saved the universe from Kid Buu, because if it wasn't for him thinking about the spirit bomb and doing it the right way, well, everyone would have been doomed, because Goku is stupid that he played along, because even at Super Saiyan 3, he didn't finish the job. Retard. I shouldn't say that, actually. Stupid. That's annoying. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is redemption arcs and atonement for your sins arcs can be very compelling and very beautiful. I love the Endeavor one and Vegeta. You just need to break it down a little bit. And that's actually also when, at the end of the story of Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta is revealed to finally be a good guy. When they revive everyone with the Dragon Balls, revive all the good people that Buu has killed, and Vegeta is one of them. That's the confirmation that Vegeta's atonement arc. Also, he sacrificed himself. He literally blew himself up for his loved ones as well. So that was pretty good too. And that is by far one of the most emotionally packed moments, I dare say, in anime history. So obviously what I'm trying to say is arcs like that and thematics like that, to be specific, can be very, very powerful and emotionally positive, in my opinion, because it's important for that message to be out there, because it's never too late. We all make mistakes, we all get lost, we stray off the righteous path, but you can always come back. Just make sure you don't fuck up too much, though, because the more you fuck up, the more returning becomes all the more difficult. Fuck up responsibly.
The gameplay was never the question or the issue. The controversy has always been players not wanting the unit to represent their account. So, why does this keep happening? At this point, we have seen this debate happen multiple times. Scaramouche, Frolova, and even La Signora. Even though she never made it into the playable roster, it didn't escape the discussion of why she should never become playable.
The reason why that happened is because Signora was so hot and everybody wanted her. Everybody and their mama wanted Signora because she was the baddie. And they decided, no, she did, boy. Yeah. And after she was dead, she really was the topic of conversation for a lot of people, for the people that wanted her to be playable specifically. And the counter argument to those people was, well, she's a villain, she's this, she's that. It shouldn't be playable. And I was one of those people. Yeah, Signora should not have been playable. A memorable character like that people would want but dies anyway, I feel like it's a very powerful emotional punch that I feel like most of us can tolerate and understand, considering the setup of Signora as a character within the story. That's a beautiful thing.
Whenever a playable antagonist is teased or the idea arises, one side says, yes, we got a morally complicated character. The other replies, some characters should just stay villains.
She can always remain a villain. I like Frolova. I mean, she's still with the Fraxidus despite our little story arc with her. She's still a villain. Tartaglia is still with the Fatui.
Does it actually make the story stronger to have some units that are permanently out of the reach of players? I feel like answering this question makes you realize that the debate is more than just a Hota-made Zanko playable, but far more about players wanting to experience the story. I will just throw this out there. I actually think gacha games have an identity problem. One thing that sets gacha games apart from other genres is the relationship that the players develop with the units they pull.
Yes.
Think about any other
100%.
RPG. You might even be playing as a morally questionable protagonist.
Yes.
Maybe you play as the villain at some point and do some terrible things. All this, however, does not make the players think twice about playing the game. There are no debates or anything, as you are just playing a role and the story moves on. This is where I think gacha games differ. Your pooled characters will never leave your roster. You will pull for them, build them, and they're yours forever. You build affection by giving these units gifts.
Damn, that's a clean looking lineup with Hathor and Shinku over there on the left. Oh no, look at them posing there too. They're just farming aura there, man. Jesus.
You unlock skins for them, hangout events. You can take them for a ride on your car and invite them to
Yeah, that's kind of the game design. That's kind of what they want to do. They're taking advantage of the loneliness epidemic. Yeah, we know.
All this to say, you are actually choosing the characters you pull. Psychologically, you feel like you own the character, and this makes it more personal, which is exactly the sort of relationship that developers want.
Exactly.
A villain in a movie is fun to watch, sure. A villain you spend time to build and spend resources on then becomes a different story altogether.
Fair enough.
I feel like the people are rejecting villains because their choice has become personal, and the question becomes, do I want this unit to represent my account? It might sound dramatic to me.
That's fair.
But to the next person, this is what I genuinely think is happening.
True.
We don't actually hate villains. This is where the discussion becomes even stronger. As
I like what he's cooking here.
Truly hated, they wouldn't make up most of the popular characters in fiction. Think gaming, anime, and even movies. We have Sephiroth, Lelouch, Joker, Virgil, Darth Vader, Magneto.
Those are very popular
the list
characters.
goes on. So even outside gaming circles, people love villains.
Yes.
Not because we agree with their actions or anything like that, but
And anti-heroes. I feel like the close middle to this is anti-heroes. People love anti-heroes. I love anti-heroes. They cold. They farm aura. I think especially guys love anti-heroes. And also girls too. Like they're like, I love me a bad boy. Anti-heroes are pretty damn cool, dude. They are edgy as fuck and we're all for it.
because they happen to
That's
be
the closest thing to
interesting
villains too.
characters.
And we love
Many
them.
memorable stories are often because of villains as opposed to the protagonists or heroes. So clearly the problem is not that we dislike antagonists. The real issue appears when developers ask us to stop observing villains and start to identify with them. This is why developers approach the whole
Dude, he's cooking right now. True. Because when you pull a character, one of the selling methods they do is obviously, like I keep saying, 3 boxes. Power, meta viability, in terms of value in the account, in terms of gameplay. It's very important. It's typically the first thing people like to check. Design, how it looks, are they appealing or not, etc. And most importantly, the character and relatability. How relatable are they? That's a very important component. And typically, characters are easy to relate to, except the villains that are now trying to be redeemed. Oh yeah. Those can be tough because relating to a villain will have to make you admit that you're not all good. And not everybody's able to do that. I'm able to do that. I'm like, yeah, I know I'm not all good. I try to be good. I put the effort every single day to be a good person. But I know through experience, if I'm put in certain positions, in certain environments, and I'm sold certain ideas that I'm dumb enough to buy into, I will behave like a bad person. I will do that. If I don't know better, I will behave poorly because I can be naive at times, which can make me very stupid, which can make me do bad and give myself excuses that I'm doing right because my environment and certain ideologies of a time can tell me it's right. That's no bueno. That is no bueno. But you have to admit it. You have to admit that once that's over and you're back on the track, you have to admit, I was wrong there. I did not know better. I was wrong. What I did was not good. That was bad. I have to do better. And a little bit of redemption too. That helps a lot. I'm trying to redeem myself a bit vis-a-vis the people that I have done harm to.
Developers must always be thinking to themselves, will making this unit playable make players think we are celebrating this character and their actions? Or are we just simply exploring them? Online, you will see this discussion become somewhat oversimplified. People will claim China doesn't allow playable villains. The reality is, Chinese developers operate in a regulatory environment that
The only thing China doesn't like is apparently homosexuality. Other than that, they don't care.
encourages positive social values. This has led to the fortunate or unfortunate event where writers have to become more conservative in their morally conflicting characters. It is in no way forbidden. This is the reason I believe villains are usually softened up before becoming playable. This is why they get sympathetic backstories and personal tragedies are revealed. They are not rewriting the villains because players hate them or anything. They are rewriting villains because controversy is expensive. Horta is no stranger to playable villains. In fact, they are a studio that is not confined to simple good versus evil conflicts. If you've ever played Tower of Fantasy, you already have an idea of this. Throughout the game, the line between protagonists and antagonists is constantly moving. A perfect example of this being Nemesis, originally tied to the gentle Shirley. She was transformed through horrific experiments.
Yeah.
Yes, she was being controlled, but she became the fifth angel of clemency. She was a literal killing machine. She served the antagonist group goals and turned against her former allies. Yet players could pull for her, play her, and all the good stuff.
That was the
This
first character
wasn't
too
accidental in
on
any
release.
way. This tells us that
She's the mascot
Horta is
too.
comfortable
Oh no.
with blurring the lines between villains and heroes. I personally think the strongest criticism against
Wait, what? What are you talking about there? Hold on.
this tells us that Horta is comfortable with
Oh, Hora. The subtitle said Hoyoverse. Stupid. For those who don't know, Tower Fantasy is something that the NTE devs, that was their previous game before NTE, for the people that aren't aware. Hora Studio is the one in charge.
I personally think the strongest criticism against playable villains is not that they are made playable, but having them overused by developers can actually weaken storytelling.
True.
So, what's the solution, you ask? I personally do not think banning all villains from being playable is the answer.
Based.
as not every antagonist deserves redemption. Not every villain should even survive.
Like Genshin, I feel like Genshin is doing a good job with that, with Capitano and stuff like that. The Signora, it's pretty good, especially Signora, considering she's hot. That packs a punch. And the reason why, of course, that packs a punch is because look at the community. There's a strong gooner side of the community. You're basically disappointed what just may be the most lucrative part of the community. That takes balls to do.
Stories become a better and a stronger story because the villain remains exactly the same evil character we have come to know and love. La Signora is a perfect example.
Ah, he's saying it too, based.
Whether you loved or hated the decision, her death had quite the strong impact in the
Yes,
story of Genshin.
100%. He's saying
Such
it too.
deaths remind
My man.
players that popularity does not guarantee survival.
Yes.
While at the same time, there is a lot of danger in playing it safe. Imagine a world where developers listened and ensured that every villain is never playable. Scarlet Letter would never be playable. Any future antagonist, never playable. Morally grey characters rewritten to become cheerful allies before they become
Oh, hell
playable.
no.
To me, that would defeat the storytelling.
Exactly. Also, another one I feel like we can also bring up here is the Raiden Shogun. The Raiden Shogun was going a little crazy, but her redemption arc was okay-ish once you understand more about what's going on, etc. And also considering her title, etc. There's some redemption there. You can understand the pain. You understand where she's coming from. You're like, you know what? Are you going to protect the people now? She's like, yeah. I was like, all right, great. Yeah, well.
Appears, I would already know the answer. If they are to become playable, they'll probably become one of the good guys. If not, they are probably purely a villain forever. That would kill all the mystery and surprise for me. There would be no payoff at all. Life is complicated and so
Yes.
are characters.
Life isn't necessarily complicated. We as well as a species and as a society can be complicated. Yeah, but life is simple. Just survive, eat, make sure the predators don't get you, make sure you can be the predator to things, and that's it.
Sometimes heroes make terrible decisions and sometimes villains make a good point. Predictable stories create forgettable characters. Now, as I wrap this up, I don't want you to think that I mean every villain should automatically become playable.
No, I love how much he's giving disclaimers. I like that. We know what you're trying to say, but that's a good disclaimer. Cook them.
Great stories don't make every villain redeemable. Great stories make us question if they deserved any sort of redemption in the first place. If every antagonist receives a tragic flashback and joins your team, players will stop believing in consequences, and
Yes.
that will mean nothing. Every character doesn't need to become a hero. I just
course.
want them to be believable. Do you think villains should be playable in gacha games? Or are there characters that should remain the same way they are forever? Let me know down below.
No, it's like you said, there's a perfect middle ground, and that's what we should strive
I
for.
read every single comment, and this is one discussion I genuinely think has no easy answer. If you enjoyed this video,
No,
and
I
like
think
this
it
one,
has an easy answer.
consider subscribing because I've got plenty more essays on the way. Until the next time, I'll see you in Heather.
No, we'll see you, man. We appreciate you, baby. We appreciate you. Well, so yeah, there it is, man. Oh, it's like I said, it has an easy answer. It's just, once again, going back to what I said earlier, people like to navigate life through black or white, and gray can be a little challenging and complicated. And a lot of people don't even put in the practice, don't put in the work to navigate gray areas. So it can be challenging for them where it's a hard conception where it has to be still just white or black. That's why it can be a little bit tough for people to go about that. And I appreciate the fact that he did mention that. But the questions at the end are both black or white. But once again, that's not what you were trying to suggest just a bit earlier. So no, I think there is a third question to be asked here near the end, which is, do you guys think we should keep having these redemption arcs, and for some to die and some not to die? I think that is the best approach. I think that is a perfect middle ground, and I think that is what's very interesting, because once you start to see the redemption arc, well, here you are on the edge of your seat. Are they going to make it or not? Is their efforts going to pay off or not? That's the question. That's what keeps you tuning in, and I think that's good content. That's some good storytelling right there, man. But that's just me, though. There's no thoughts in the comments below about everything, whether it's the sentiments of the community, whether it's Zanko, whether about the villain redemption arc. What are some of your favorite villain redemption arc in different medias? I don't watch a lot of medias, so I would love to hear maybe and discover some new ones. I just finished My Hero X, something like that. It was a pretty good anime. I'm looking to watch something new. I have some, but I would love to hear some of you guys, because I like some of the redemption arcs. So if you guys have a good recommendation, I'm all for them. So yeah, let us know once again your thoughts in the comments below. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Be easy.